Hi everyone, thanks for tuning in to Bluegrass Home and Garden TV. Kate Horning is with us once again because it's summertime and we can't not have you give us some summer-inspired recipes.
Yes, this is the time of year that we all wait for. I feel like our gardens are just overflowing with all this delicious produce.
I know.
So today we're going to do some fun dishes that are easy, quick, because in the summer I don't want to be in the kitchen, I want to be in my garden.
I just want to be outside.
Yeah, and most importantly, utilizing this beautiful summer produce that we have so much of. So yeah, and then of course, gotta make a dessert every once in a while. I'm not a big dessert person, but
I am.
I know you are. So we're also gonna do a fun little no-bake cookie idea that is packed with a little protein. We were talking a little bit earlier about we're always trying to get more protein in. So this is kind of covers the sweet craving, but also gives you a little protein boost. So
love it.
We got a little sweet and a little main. So we're gonna start with the no-bake cookies because they take a little while to kind of chill in the fridge. So for this, I'm using coconut oil, and I'm just gonna have you add into this pot here 2 tablespoons of coconut oil. Okay. So typically in no-bake cookies, they use butter. Coconut oil, number 1, has like a natural sweetness, so it's gonna add a little bit of sweetness without sugar. And number 2, I just feel like it's one of those things that I'm trying to utilize more of. It's a good medium chain fat, healthy fat. So I don't know, I just thought it'd be fun to try in this. And then we'll do a 1/4 cup of both peanut butter and maple syrup. So our sweetener in this recipe, instead of like regular sugar, is gonna be maple syrup. So I'm having a 1/4 cup each of peanut butter, maple syrup. And then essentially just like good old, here's the thing. I was gonna say. Good old-fashioned no-bake cookies. We're just gonna bring it all to a boil to create sort of that bubbly mixture, and then we're gonna add our dry ingredients. So I've got some vanilla as well I'm gonna add in, if I can get it open.
I love the fact that you've made your own vanilla.
I know, it's so good. If you've never made it, it's easy. And vanilla is so expensive at the grocery store.
Yes, it is.
So if you buy a couple of vanilla beans, I can reuse these usually twice and get a good bit. So it's a little hack. And then the last liquid ingredient is going to be some almond milk, like 3 tablespoons-ish. Again, just to kind of loosen up the mixture so it coats everything really nicely. So that's my measuring of 3 tablespoons.
I love the fact that I do that so much.
And then we're just going to bring it to a boil and essentially boil it just until it starts to kind of bubble. You're looking for those little bubbles on top. And then while that happens, I'm going to mix up the dry ingredients here, which are just gonna be a 1/4 cup of protein powder, 3/4 cup of oats. I like old-fashioned oats, but you could use quick cooking.
How much did you tell me of this?
A 1/4 cup, a 1/4 cup. And then about a tablespoon or 2 of dark cocoa powder, just for extra chocolatey flavor. You don't have to add this, but I'm going to. So 1/4 cup of protein, 3/4 cup of the oats, and then a couple tablespoons of this, and you're just gonna kind of boil the wet, mix it with the dry, and we'll have cookies before we know it.
All right, well, I'm a little short on the maple syrup, so we'll take a short break and be back here in just a few. My good friend Dwayne is with us.
Hey Precious, how you doing?
I'm doing just fine, just peachy.
We're suffering through the summer.
Yes, we are, and now we're looking a little bit more towards a happy fall.
We are. So when we had this last conversation, it was like, what do we want to show the audience out there that does know you and doesn't know you? Because I'm going to, some of us might be a newbie, and it really is because it's been really hot, right? Yeah. And I feel like we get kind of tired and kind of bogs us down. So we're now starting to think, what do you do for outside? Because I feel like the plants are starting to get a little weak outside and a little weathered and they're just dried up. So it's like, okay, we're starting to think about fall a little bit, just a little, even though it's 99 degrees, we're starting to think about fall a little bit. So I want to think about happy fall, and it's about the sunflowers in Kentucky blooming and the lime life hydrangeas blooming. And so that's what we're going to work on. We're just going to make a pretty arrangement that you put on your kitchen island or
with a dough bowl.
Yeah, with a dough bowl. Okay. So kids, these are little pins. Remember those little things? These are pins, and what it is, you start with a piece of styrofoam in this green moss. You can use any kind of moss you want. And all we're doing is poking those in there, like a little hairpin, basically. You want to help me a little? Yeah. And you're just covering up the moss. Oh, we'll share, I'll share. I'm a good sharer. And that really is just layer number 1. We're just giving ourselves something to stick the flowers in, and they don't even have to cover it all, as long as it covers some of it. Okay. So for me, what's my favorite little magnolia. So guys, if you don't know me, you know the magnolia is one of my favorite things, and in the store, I think this is one of the most realistic things we have. Isn't it beautiful?
Absolutely.
So I want you to kind of fluff him up and cut him off.
You've done a pretty good job here.
You do a little bit more. It's pretty good. and then just kind of cut it and poke them in with a few places, and that acts like our base greenery to start filling in everything.
Okay. I love these. You can never have too much of these.
Well, I think you buy these, they're a little bit of an investment because you really can use these in every fall arrangement, Christmas arrangement, everyday arrangement. I'll cut it if you want to poke it in. So as you're doing that, the next thing for me is most important is the sunflower, right? Isn't that beautiful?
That is really
That is happiness. So I'm going to cut him off. And what I'm using here are some pretty good wire cutters. And I think these actually came from the Walmarts, but you can get them anywhere. But these, they have a little sharp point to them. So that if you do any floral arrangements, buy you a really good pair of wire cutters. That's the most important thing. And I'm also cutting these leaves off because I don't feel like they're an important piece of the puzzle.
Okay.
And you see, that's what, about 6 inches or so roughly?
Yeah.
Yeah. So poke him in and kind of keep him kind of tight.
Okay.
And on the next one I'm going to get you another sunflower, the same thing, about 6 inches. But instead of, you know, one here, one here, one here, let's kind of cluster them, like put three, four together, like a little bundle.
Okay.
And you keep doing that. We'll have a few more sunflowers in there, and then we'll come back and add the next layer. Sound good?
All right.
We're on it.
We are back.
So we got more maple syrup, so we added a full quarter cup because that is one ingredient you don't want to skimp on. And then we've got it kind of boiling right now. You're adding in about 1 to 2 tablespoons of cocoa powder. Really, it's just a personal preference. If you like it really chocolatey, add more. I'm a big chocolate person, so for me, 2 tablespoons is what I want to go with. And then oats. I've just got like old-fashioned oats here. Like I mentioned, good fiber. So another tip I have when you're having something indulgent is, you know, try to include, I always say don't eat naked carbs. Like try to include some sort of fat and fiber with your sugars because it helps to slow the absorption in your bloodstream, helps to keep your blood sugar a little bit more stable, and you're not going to get that sugar spike and crash that you get from eating.
I struggle with that so much naturally anyway.
Yeah, so this is a good dish for you. And I'm going to add a little splash more of almond milk, but you can see how it's starting to boil.
Oh, yeah.
All right, so yeah, so pairing that little bit of protein that we're adding from the protein powder with the fiber from the oats is a really great way to make sure we're not eating that sugar on its own. All right, so that's looking good. And I'll have you show kind of the texture that we're looking for. I want it a little thinner. So about a quarter cup of almond milk instead of 2 to 3 tablespoons. So that looks really good. So the last thing I'm gonna add is a pinch of salt. Celtic salt, the good stuff, because sweet and salty go so well together. And truthfully, salt really helps to bring out the sweetness. I think a lot of times you're always like, oh, well, I don't want that sweet and salty, but really it brings out flavor. Okay, so that looks good. So now we're just gonna go ahead and I'm gonna turn this off. And I'm gonna add and then from here, you just wanna look at it and make sure it's a nice texture that looks like a no-bake cookie. If it looks a little dry, again, almond milk's your best friend, which might need a touch more, but these look really good. All right, so probably...
Oh my gosh, it smells so good.
I know, it does smell really good.
Woo!
So probably 4 to 6 tablespoons of almond milk. Again, it's one of those things where, you know, everybody's protein powder is different, oats are different, so you really are looking for more of a texture. That's what I want. That looks so good. So I'll have you kind of show that one more time, and I'm gonna grab spoons.
Oh my gosh, it smells so good.
And I used to come home from school and make these all the time as a kid. Like, it was my favorite cookie growing up. So for me, this is like a big, nostalgic, healthier version.
Okay, oh my gosh, it smells
So from there,
good.
we're just gonna take them and take 2 spoons and no-bake cookie style, drop them onto a little baking sheet that I lined with a silk pad or parchment paper. Makes for easy cleanup. And then we're just gonna pop these into the fridge for, I don't know, about 15 minutes to set up, just until everything kind of cools down and they start to firm up. And then from there, I mean, you can keep them in the fridge and they'll probably last, well, if they do last, about a week, I would say, refrigerated. And man, yeah, they smell so good. And you can even hit them with a little salt on top if you want.
Ooh, we're going to do a couple like that.
I was going to say.
Yes.
Get a little fancy. But this would be such a fun thing to get your kids involved with too. And I think kids would enjoy this just as much as adults.
Mine love helping.
Yeah, that's such a big indicator of them wanting to eat things too.
It almost smells like brownies.
They do, and it looks like brown. I think it's all the cocoa powder. I mean, that's look how cocoa-y they are.
So good.
And again, what a great little.
Don't worry about getting the rest of that. I'll take care of it.
That was always my favorite part, was the cookie dough. So there are little no-bake cookies. I'm gonna pop them in the fridge.
Yeah,
And hopefully we'll be ready to taste test here soon.
All right, we'll be back here in just a few. We are back in the reserve at Greenbrier with Jimmy Nash and, of course, Boo. One of your homes that's under construction here. I personally love coming into your homes at this stage because not everything's finished. A lot of the...
You like the chaos.
If
right.
that's what you want to call it, yes.
Yeah, it's like being at home.
We'll call it the chaos.
Yeah. Yeah, so we got a nice masonry fireplace. You don't see that too often. It's double-sided, so it's here, and then that back patio we were just at. So there's actually 2 fireplaces that go back to back, and then the real stone veneer on it as well. So.
And then I noticed, I love the stairwell. They're working on it right now, but it looks like there's a hidden door.
There's a hidden door that goes to the laundry room from the master suite, from the foyer.
Nice.
And the staircase is unique because it's a floating staircase. So, and it's stacked. So it looks like each tread stacked on top of one another, and it's just suspended. So it's suspended between the windows, and it's all steel inside.
Nice.
That's wrapped with wood. So it's really a steel staircase wrapped with wood, and that's how they're able to get all those spans and everything in there.
We got Boo is
it's the coolest place in the house right there.
For purposes on how big that fireplace was, Boo is giving us a demonstration.
Right, it's a big fireplace.
What about the kitchen? I mean, I like the fact that you've got this kind
Got
of
the wet bar
area.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like all the kitchens are huge. They're great big islands and open space, and that's where everybody gathers when you entertain. So it's to have a private study right off the foyer as well. So really cool floor plan.
What about the front elevation? What can
so-
people expect when this is all finished out?
Yeah, so some of the stone like we see here, and painted brick.
Okay.
So it's kind of like a modern Tudor look to it. Very tall roof pitches, bronze windows, very elegant looking. So.
All right, so again, just a few more lots available here, but you have a couple of lots in Serenity, right? Of course, the Oaks, Waldorf coming.
Yeah.
Townhomes. You got a lot.
We got a lot going on. So yeah, anywhere in Fayette County or Jessamine County or surrounding counties, just give us a call, 859-621-8880 or jimmynashhomes.com.
You all.
We're trying to let the cookies set. Amber's like, can we eat them now?
I practically licked that bowl clean while you all were watching. It was really good.
So we did put them in the freezer to speed up the process,
Yes,
but they still have to set, and while they set, we're gonna make a dinner idea.
Yeah, because I don't need to eat the dessert first.
Dinner and then dessert. And as we talked about earlier, in the summer, like, I'm all about simple. We have such good ingredients, like in season right now, that you really can keep things simple.
Yeah.
Not a lot of ingredients and really easy meals. So this is a bruschetta, essentially my take on bruschetta and pasta mixed together. So I'm gonna call it bruschetta pasta.
Yeah, I love it. All right, so what do I need to do?
So we're gonna dump the pasta in. I've got, careful, that's hot.
That's really hot. That's really hot. That's why she put this here right here.
We've been talking for like 15 minutes while it's been boiling.
That thing got hot fast.
So I have salted water, and if you ever burn yourself, a little quick tip: put under cold water or like warm water. Don't ice.
I burned myself the other day. It's all good. I'm getting used to it. My fingers are all just developing really hard calluses.
So we're gonna boil our pasta, and I'm just using a rigatoni shape, but you could literally use
anything you have.
Yep, any shape you have. I just like rigatoni. I think it's cute. So we've got that going in salted water, and then while that's happening, we're gonna marinate our tomatoes.
Okay.
So we're just gonna have cherry tomatoes or grape tomatoes or whatever you have.
So cute.
And you want, I mean, we're making enough for 2 people, so you want about a cup of tomatoes. If you're doing a whole box, I do about 4 cups of tomatoes.
Okay.
But essentially what we're gonna do is just take these.
She used a pot holder.
I knew this was coming. We're gonna take these tomatoes. I'm gonna throw a couple of these in too, just to give us some more volume, but cut them up, and then we're gonna put them into a bowl and just cover them with some olive oil and salt.
Okay.
And essentially we're just gonna kind of create this marinade that's going to make a sauce for us. And then when that cool tomatoes hit that hot pasta with a little hint of pasta water, it's gonna create this nice, easy tomato sauce. And this is, to me, is like the ultimate summertime, like when I don't wanna cook, when it's hot outside, like I just don't feel like, anything complicated. And then you could always add like grilled chicken to this if you want. You know, we were talking about protein earlier. If you want a little more protein, some grilled chicken would be a great addition. Or serve it as a side dish if you want with, you know, some burgers on the grill or some steaks or something. So it's a very versatile dish too, which is why I like it.
Who doesn't love a good pasta salad?
I know, and you know, again, pasta salad, you could serve as hot, you could serve as cold. I mean, you could literally, options are endless. So, and then I've got some marinated mozzarella because I love it. So we're gonna add that as well for a little boost.
Real quick, so many people have heard over the years of us doing this together, A Healthy Passion, but things have changed.
Yes.
So your website's got a new name.
Yes, it's called Macro Meals Plan. So Healthy Passion was my blog back in college, like a decade ago. And it kind of evolved into the website, and then I started getting more into nutrition and teaching people how to eat through macros. And I just felt like it was time for the change. I mean, I've been teaching macros for 6 years now, and Healthy Passion's been like, you know, the name of it. So yeah, it's called Macro Meals Plan, exact same software. If you're into just meal planning, you can still do that. But if you are wanting to learn a little bit more about how to eat to support your goals, if you want to get stronger or feel a little more energetic or lose weight, it gives you very specifics on, okay, this is the amount of protein you need to be getting. And then you plug our recipes in and you can sort of see where you're at. So it sort of guides you to eating a little healthier through, I always like to call it, like macros to me are like bumpers when you're bowling. Like it just kind of keeps you, you know, on track if you want to be, but all the recipes are still, you know.
Well, and I use it, I mean, to be quite honest, and she's not paying me to say this except in the form of no-bake cookies, but I mean, I use it, and a lot of people have asked me, like, well, you know, do you use like one of the free apps? I'm like, no, I use Kate's app because I use so many of her recipes all the time. Like, it's no joke. I mean, like, you all see us cook on the show together. I go back and I cook recipes over and over and over because I love them. And right now I am the peach pork chop that, oh my goodness, I think we did a couple years ago. It's like the peaches are in season and I just keep making it over and over.
It's the ultimate summer recipe, and it's awesome because the recipes are right in there.
And you know exactly what you're getting. And I'm trying to purposely track protein. So, but I know we're running out of time.
So we're gonna let that cook
here in a few.
Yeah.
We are back. So Dwayne was kind of walking me through. I put the magnolias in here and I kind of clustered some of these sunflowers. You can put this around here. See, we got our moss in here. We'll put this one in here as well.
So one of the little tricks is you're keeping everything really compact and mounded together. And then I keep this idea of things are growing out in your yard, and it's late summer, and I don't even know what this is.
But it's fuzzy.
It's fuzzy, and I love that. It's anybody in the back audience knows what this is?
Lamb's ear.
Lamb's ear. Thank you. Audience, thank you. There's 4 people here. There's not right. So I want you to take the lamb's ear and kind of tuck him in. And again, it's like a bed and everything's kind of laying on top of the lamb's ear. And I think we'll use, maybe probably 3 of those because these are, I think, a pretty good value. $6.95, and I think you get a lot of look for the money for that. And it's so funny.
Again, right here? Where?
Anywhere. Where you want to poke it. I almost feel like it doesn't matter. And this one, that sounds odd, but we're using this as a texture and a filler. And so long as it's in there, I don't think it matters a whole lot. But the other thing I want you to kind of notice is how dark and green and waxy this is, and how this is kind of like a blue-green color. And I think when you make flower arrangements and you buy stuff, it really is all these textures that are just as about as important as what it is. So our last little piece of the puzzle, as you're doing that, for this segment, and then we'll come back and fill it up with the rest, is our hydrangea. And I referenced cone hydrangeas, or I can't remember the other one I said, but this is just a green hydrangea, and it's that fresh color that I think is so important against this yellow of the sunflower. What's it? Lime life. Lime life. That's what I couldn't think of.
Or little lime. There's all kinds of
little limes,
varieties.
and this is not what that is, but it represents the color. So I want you to take him and kind of tuck him in, and then we'll rotate and we'll tuck him in. We'll get those done. Come back and we'll do the last little segments of all these little pops of color that looks like we cut them from our garden. See you in a minute.
Breaking weather and traffic doesn't have to take you by surprise.
With First Alert weather alerts and traffic alerts in the morning, we'll get you where you need to go on time.
We keep this from happening to you.
WKYT, the most weather and traffic updates all morning long.
Alerting you first, the WKYT First Alert Weather app. Everyday Kentucky, weekdays at 9 a.m. on WKYT.
We are back. Kate, what do you call this?
It's a spider.
It's a spider?
Spider, yeah.
Like an S-P-I-D-E-R?
Yeah, for like frying, you get it out. I don't fry
See,
much, but you get your stuff out with it.
I've never heard it called that. I'm sure that's exactly.
What do you call it?
I would refer to it as a netted ladle or something. I don't know. I don't think any. I don't know.
I mean, now you can go around and impress people with your knowledge. It's
spider.
The spider.
It's a spider.
Yeah. So while the pasta was cooking, we took a clove of garlic, and I just took my little grater here and I grated it in, and then we just let everything marinate. And you want everything to marinate for about 10 to 15 minutes typically. Obviously we started the pasta, so this only got to marinate for like 8 minutes, but I would do it 10, 20 minutes. The longer, the more flavor you're gonna get. And then what you wanna do is you want to not drain your pasta, but spider it in if possible, because you want a little bit of that pasta water to create a sauce. If you don't have a spider, you can always just take a tablespoon and, or 2 tablespoons and just kind of add that pasta water. And the reason why we add the pasta water is because it has starch from cooking the pasta, so it's gonna create that nice sauce. And then from there, we've added some fresh mozzarella, and we're just gonna sort of, I'll let you do that, stir it up. And then the last ingredient,
I know.
If that isn't summer, I don't know what is.
It's one of my favorites, right there with cilantro.
Fresh basil, and we're just gonna add this at the very end to kind of give that pop of fresh flavor. So for me.
Now, if you were wanting to go really high protein on this, there are some pastas that are made with like lentils or different things like that you could try, right?
Yes. I love lentil pasta. We were talking about this earlier, but if you're gonna try any of those like the alternative pastas, the lentil pasta to me is the most similar to pasta in texture and flavor.
Don't overcook it.
Don't overcook it. It definitely is like a little firmer, so definitely don't undercook it. You can add that. I mean, it's your dish. You do you.
Oh, I mean, you just always finish things with
extra cheese, extra salt. Amber's like, I got my list. But yeah, lentil pasta is a great alternative. You can do the exact same thing. And then again, if you wanted to add more protein, grilled chicken would kind of take it over the top.
That's good.
And yeah, so from here, we're just gonna let the flavors melt for about a minute, and then we can serve it up and give it a taste. The last thing I'm gonna do, because I'm with you, is finish it with about a 1/4 tablespoon of butter. That's just gonna give like that ultimate, this is a special touch. I wouldn't probably do this all the time, but it'll give it that like ultimate velvety deliciousness. And you can see, look at that sauce.
Oh yeah.
Like how good is that? And this will make a good pasta salad, like cold the next day too.
Ooh. Love it. All right, we'll be back. We gotta do some taste testing here in a minute.
Yep.
Stay tuned. Happy fall is still in the works here.
So you like this pretty?
I
I
did.
like what you did, by the way. You were kind of questioning where to put these, and as we were finishing off camera, I said, "You just tuck them in." I said, "You've done this long enough," and I think you did, right? You've kind of felt natural. So the last little piece of the puzzle is this is called a ranunculus, and be careful, I've got that little pick on there, right? Let me show you guys. I have this little machine, and it puts this little pokey thing on there, and it pokes it down in the styrofoam. I went to the ER last year, so I'm always a little leery of that now. I have a little
I think
PSD.
I think I slipped my hand the first time I tried to do it.
Yeah. So we're adding this fun little orangey yellow color to it, and there really is just poking him in. I look at this and I start thinking, I was like, wouldn't this be just a beautiful vibe for a summer wedding, a late summer wedding? It's beautiful. And all we're doing in this last little layer is taking these ranunculus, and there's actually 2 different colors in the store. There's one that's just a pure yellow, and the one that's kind of an orange yellow. And I think, again, if you have that luxury of mixing them together, it would, because it ends up looking more natural if you buy 2 of this and 3 of that and mix the colors together.
Because things fade naturally, so.
These remind me, these are a type of lily, right?
Yeah.
And I grew up in, if y'all don't know, I grew up in eastern Kentucky outside of Pikeville. And I remember walking out of my little holler, and at the end of it, these grew beside the road, beside Ray Elmer, you know, named Ray Elmer's mailbox. And even as a kid, I just remember how beautiful those were growing in the wild. And that's the reason when I saw these, I had to have them for the shop, because it's all about memories for me.
Oh, absolutely.
And I thought these were beautiful. And again, look at that pretty color thrown into it. And here's a little peachier color. So basically, we'll keep adding and filling in the blanks. But this is it. This is Happy Fall that's going to be on your kitchen table, your island. And I keep thinking that it looks like you just went outside and just cut stuff and stuck it in a bowl.
Absolutely. Don't forget to scan that QR code. Hopefully you've seen it a couple of times when we've been working on this, because join their email list.
Well, and what that does by scanning the QR code, it gets you on the email and it tells you when we have sales or promotions. It gets you access to online stuff. So it really is a pretty important little easy tool to use, I think.
I want one more of those.
There you go.
All right, here we go.
Okay. We happy, guys?
I think we're
Hey,
happy.
thank you for coming today.
Absolutely. Always a joy to be here with my friend Dwayne. Stay tuned. It's taste testing time.
No, look how pretty that is.
That looks fantastic.
I know. I'm so excited. So we're gonna taste this first or the cookies?
Yeah, well, yeah, we're gonna taste that first.
All right, pasta first. There's your fork.
I gotta make sure I get a little bit of everything.
I know, it's always the hardest part. Get it all and not look like a crazy person doing it. And that pasta's nice and al dente. If you are looking at like the box directions, always set your timer to check on it like a minute or two before. Yum. So simple. So good. Yeah, I'm going.
That's really good.
I'm going in.
That's really, really good. Dang.
And that sauce, like, it's like velvety.
Yeah.
I think it's that little touch of butter at the end.
That's good.
Yep.
Very good. Not that I would expect anything less.
I know. I mean, I would take that out on the back porch and just enjoy it. But
I know. Yeah. Oh, don't worry.
this is what we've
We'll be
really
finishing
been
that
waiting for. And Amber added a little salt on top because the special touches are all that matter. Look how good those look. Takes me back to my childhood.
Better than mine.
Wow. Dang. I mean, and we were talking about this, the dark chocolate powder, dark cocoa powder is so good. It makes them like really dark, but oh my gosh, so rich. Look at that hint of coconut. And the salt.
Yeah, don't tell my mom, but I like this recipe better.
And I feel like no bake cookies are like butter, powdered sugar, like there's no nutritional value to them. I mean, these are packed with good stuff for you. And a quarter cup of maple syrup, I mean, divided by 8 or 10 of these, that's nothing, almost no sugar.
Yeah, those are good.
I would eat the whole one, but I know I'm gonna have chocolate over my face, so.
Well, I just inhaled that one, so there you go. All right, let's give them your website again.
Yes, all these recipes will be at macromealsplanned.com, and if you want to learn more about me or come hang out on my website, katehorning.com.
All right, we will see you next time, and she'll be back because we've got more great ideas coming your way. Keep it here.